So you will find this recording in my YouTube channel, like all the training the last 2 years in Spanish, in Italian, and in English. So welcome in this weekly training. As you know, I do this training in English every week, every Tuesday at 9 p.m. CET. At 8, I do the one in Spanish, and I record everything. And tonight we have a special guest, the CEO, the founder of the company. Before we start, just a few information because it's very important. So Jay will not waste his time for these things. Just let me tell you regarding what we do, our product. As you know, we sell a plastic waste removal service. Great. Now we are in the new era in 2026. Now we move from the CSR 25 to the CSR 26. So what is the price for our service? We started for the first 2 weeks of the year with a price of 50 cents per kilogram. So this means that in the first 2 weeks, if you want to remove 1 kilogram of plastic waste with the Corsair group, you have to pay 15 cents for 1 kilo. You know, there is the most important rule we have in our business is 1 kilogram are 10 CSR plastic credit. So if 1 kilo is 15 cents, 1 CSR 26 is 1.5 cent. This is the initial price for our service. But for the first 2 weeks, so till next Friday, the 16th of January, we have a special bonus discount of 25%. So this means that till Friday, we will pay 11 cents for 1 kilogram. So this means 1.1 cent for 1 CSR 26. And this will finish on Friday. And from Saturday, we will start with the first basic price, 15 cents for 1 kilo. So we jump from 1.1 to 1.1 cent to 1.5 cent for 1 CSR 26. And then from that moment, every week, perfectly like it was in 2025, every week, the price will increase of 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, like it happened in 2025. We start from 1.3 and we finish with 7.3, something like that. Okay? The last point I want to highlight to you is the new kind of distribution. We move from the old, you remember, till 2025, the distribution of the CSR 25 was 5% immediately, 1 week after. Then after 40 weeks, 45%. After another 40 weeks, the 50%. Now we change the distribution. And this will be now the first 5% again immediately, 1 week after the purchase of your plastic waste removal service. Then another 5% after 26 weeks. Then another 50% after 52 weeks. So after from 1 year. Then another 25% after 78 weeks. And then the last 50% after 104 weeks. So in practical, you will get all your CSR 26 in 2 years' time, in 104 weeks. Last year, we delay of 4 months. Let me explain you why. Because last year, what happened? A lot of people, what they did, they received the first 50% after 10 months. A lot of people, what they did, they sell the CSR 25. They make money. And of course, not only the Italians are smart, but a lot of people all around the world are smart. And they sell the CSR 25 and they buy the new CSR 25 with the new promotion. And this is not good. So we decide to move this. So from now on, when you will get your 25% and then you're going to sell this 25%, you can't buy anymore the CSR 26. You can sell, but you will be forced to buy the CSR 27. So we are going to create a better economy for the CSR, okay? To avoid to give money to the people that is not interesting to the wellness of the company, but is interesting only in the wellness of his pocket, okay? Okay, I think I will quit from now. Today, I will not need to translate because everyone speaking English in this room. 108 people. Very happy to see all of you. And nothing. Jay, let me only introduce you. For me, it's really an honor, a pleasure to have you here tonight in this our weekly training in English. As I told you, I do this training every week and I record it. So if you are interested, you can be my guest. Absolutely, the door is open. And thank you, Jay, to be here tonight with us in this group, in this English training. And it's an honor for me to have here the crazy man that 5 years ago, 5 years ago, when there was nothing in the COVID moment, when all the world ran away from the oil industries, all the world with the COVID, you remember the COVID, no? The world was blocked. So no oil was sold. A lot of companies that produce oil went in failure. He decided to jump in this business. And I believe he did right. Because today, Corsair is a reality. Today, Corsair is Corsair. Point. Nothing to add anymore. People that would like to understand what we do, they have all the information to know what is Corsair, which is the reality of Corsair today. So, Jay, thank you very much. It's an honor for me and for us to have you here. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome our CEO of Corsair Group International, Mr. Jussi Saloranta.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea. Thank you very much for I think it's an understatement to say warm welcome. Thank you very much for the kind words, and thank you all for joining us here today, depending on where in the world you are calling in. I'd like to say good morning for our brothers and sisters from North America. I see many of you there, and obviously many of you from Europe, and a few of us here in Asia. So you could say that we are definitely globally represented on this call today. That's great to see. Now, about a week ago on Sunday, we had our global online event, which was the very first for the year. On that call, we went through a lot of important updates. And what I will be doing today is to diving deeper into many of those topics. We will avoid repeating the same information again, but instead focusing on giving you more details about those topics, which are very, very important and will also open up for you more understanding of what to expect from our business and our company from the next coming months and during this year in general. So, first of all, let me also take the opportunity to wish you all Happy New Year. 2026 has definitely arrived. It seems like we're now very much living in the future. But before we talk more about what we can expect happening this year, let's do a quick recap of what we achieved during last year and also what was eventually completed with the CSR 25. So we could say that year 2025 for us as a company and as a community was definitely a year of global expansion. We expanded, I would say, mostly and very importantly on a horizontal way, you could say, where we expanded into several new markets, several new areas, and we were able to achieve a lot of work, which again will work as a foundation for a significant projected growth for this year. If you go to our website, corsairgroup.com, you will find, first of all, that we have now updated the website. It's new, looks fresh, has a lot of information on it, which is now also updated. But on the website, you will find this sort of a timeline history walkthrough. And I like the fact that when you go to the website and you look at the major milestones that we achieved during the year 2020, when we started the company, and then 2021, 22, 23, and so on. When you look at the number of major achievements that was done on those years, and then you look at the list of major achievements that was done in 2025 alone, it's pretty mind-blowing. These 15, 20 different major milestones that we achieved would, in a normal business environment, many of these just by themselves could have been that one major thing that we did during that year. In our case, we have about 20 of them listed over here, including the fact that we as a company have now been acknowledged and recognized at the United Nations. That's just one of the 20 milestones. The fact that we as a company now entered into the public space by now being the very first network marketing, direct sales, affiliate marketing, whatever you want to call, a network that was allowed legally offer investment products on the European market under a crowdfunding campaign which was fully licensed and authorized by the European financial authorities. The first ever network company to do that. Like I said, one of the 20. So it's interesting to see the speed of development, and therefore, when we look at this year, 2026, we have a great year ahead of us, and we're extremely excited and enthusiastic to go into this, knowing that we're going to do even more great development this year, and most importantly, see a lot of growth in different areas of our business. Now, with 2025 coming to an end, also the total allocation for the CSR 25 plastic credit came to a closure as well. Basically, what it means, as Andrea explained earlier, is that every time when we sell our plastic waste removal service, the customer who now participates with Corsair into the largest environmental cleaning project in the world, which is here to clean our planet from all of this plastic pollution, our customers, as a result, when that work has been done, when physical plastic waste has been removed from the environment, that client receives as a form of a digital receipt these plastic credits. And we operate on an annual cycle where there is an annual credit which is issued based on the work done during that specific year. And this is directly also related to the amount of the sales of our plastic waste removal service, which is done by the Corsair Connect, previously known as Amplivo Network. So when the last package was sold on the 2nd of January, and we came to a closing of that period, we were able to then look back and finalize and identify the total allocation, the total amount of CSR 25 plastic credits that will ever be in existence. So when we now finalize these numbers, we come to a total amount of 590 million CSR 25 plastic credits that will ever be in existence. It's important to highlight that many of these won't be in circulation until the middle or even late next year. So it's not like there's 590 million tokens all at once. No. It's kind of like, as an example, let's say you might be aware that there's a maximum amount of Bitcoin. It's 21 million Bitcoins that can ever be created. In the same way, 590 million is the total amount of CSR 25 that can ever be in existence. Already now, some of these have already been permanently removed from circulation as a result of the retirement, when individuals and companies are buying these credits, using them, and by doing so, offsetting their plastic waste footprint. And also, some of them have already been purchased back by Corsair as a part of our buyback program, where they are being purchased from the markets and then placed away for good. So this 590 is a very small number. If we compare it, for example, into the allocation amount of the original CSR, which is of course a result of a number of years that was contributing into that total amount of allocation, CSR 25 and the 590 million of them is only about 6% of the total allocation of the original CSR, which is over 9 billion. So what we can say and what we can expect to happen with CSR 25 is a lot of exciting things. And that is primarily caused by the fact that there's very little of it in circulation ever. And with growing demand fueled by regulations for companies to take responsibility of their plastic waste footprint and buy and retire them, remove them from the circulation permanently. And with our increasing industrial operations generating more revenue from the sales of the oil and from these so-called gate fees that we receive when we accept this plastic waste raw material into our operations, 10% of that money is going into this buyback program where we as a company buy back these credits from the market. I'm going to be talking about that in more detail in a few minutes, but I want to, as a summary, just to highlight that is a very, very small amount of circulation to begin with, which is great. Now, we can therefore say that the countdown has started. It really means that this 590 million, which is the total existence, is now becoming smaller and smaller and smaller with every single retirement, with every single buyback that is being done. And that means that we basically now have a supply which is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, basically reducing every week. And we have more and more and more demand, which is also increasing every week. So if you understand the basics of market economics, if you got increasing demand, reducing supply, well, there's a good chance that the value is going to increase. Just saying. You can all do your own math on this. Now, interesting also little detail is that out of these 590 million, only about 2.6 million is actually at this very moment stored inside the L-Bank exchange. Not even all 2.6 million are available for purchase. They're not listed for sale. But there is about 2.6 million credits right now on the L-Bank exchange in their digital wallets, which is not currently already bought back by Corsair, but which is stored by other individuals, other members. 2.6 million is not a lot, guys. That's basically the whole market. What it means is that if somebody wanted to go today and buy 3 million CSR 25 plastic credits, you couldn't buy them. They're not there. Of course, if the price would start to suddenly go crazy up, more people would come and put them over there, and that's good. That's how it's supposed to go. But 2.6 million credits is very, very limited, which is, again, good sign when we want to put together these sort of signs and these clues from the market of what could happen and what we can expect to happen in the coming months in this year. And this is all public information, by the way. It's all available on Etherscan if you go and you start to look at where these tokens are being held. So all in all, we can say that the potential for CSR25 value development is very exciting. Why are we spending all this time talking about CSR25? Well, because CSR25 is going to operate and work as an extremely good example of the things that we can expect to happen for CSR26. It's our best reference, and most importantly, let me also highlight this one. CSR25 is at this very moment trading at about 7 cents per token. Okay. Now, that means that, and let me go on, let me be very clear on this. With 7 cents public trading as it is right now, it means that every single customer, everybody, 100%, every single customer who bought a package from Amplivo Corsair Connect during last year is at the moment on profit. 100%. Now, let me be very cautious on my words here. Obviously, it's not an investment product, but they have made a significant benefit because many of those people, they purchased their service, which resulted in the creation of the CSR 25 plastic credits, eventually at a rate of somewhere between, let's say, 20 to maybe 30 cents per kilo, resulting in a credit price of being somewhere between 2 to 3 cents. Many of them even under 2 cents. Well, that's quite interesting data. So therefore, I think we are looking forward to a very exciting 2026. And especially now when we have last year as an example, as a track record, as a reference to show how did that go. So when we are now focusing into year 2026, we can easily say that the work that we did last year, this foundation that we built, this horizontal expansion that we did in so many different areas of our business, this year we're going to see a massive global growth built on that platform. Now let's talk a little bit about what are our targets, what are our goals and expectations for this year. First of all, and I know I can already see the excitement in the eyes of our friends Chuck and Michael and many others. Great to see you guys from the USA joining us over here today. But North America is definitely one of our main targets for business development and expansion this year. And when I say this meaning both on the industrial side of things as naturally, obviously, from the network side of things. And just to break down that a little bit, and actually Chuck is a fantastic, he's one of the most persistent people that I've met lately. And I'm extremely happy that he's joined our team and he's on my WhatsApp faster than I'm able to reply. And he just told me, I think it was today or yesterday, he said, I don't know if he had seen this before, but he said, okay, Jay, my target is to find you 100 facilities, locations around the country. Are we okay with that target? Yes, Chuck, that is exactly the target. So let's please do that. Let's find those locations. You and the team have done already an amazing job. We're extremely happy about this partnership and collaboration that we have now together with iHub and all the individuals in the iHub community in the USA, and obviously all the other teams that are there as well. But it's great to see now things really picking up and moving forward in the United States. And with some of the new announcements and updates and progress that we will be announcing next month in February in our next global Zoom call. We're going to have a lot of interesting things for you guys. But we also expect during next month to be able to make our actual first announcement for our first USA-based industrial facility. There's been a lot of work by a group of people that have worked to put all these things together. It has been a long road. It has taken a lot of effort, a lot of time, but now we're coming into completion of a lot of that work. And next month, we will be able to make announcements based on this. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we have a industrial target for United States alone, which is altogether 100 Corsair industrial facilities. Not 100 machines, 100 factories. This is not going to, unfortunately, all happen during this year. It will take a few more years, but this is our target, and we are expecting to have a great launch on this target while being able to announce and later in the year launch our first USA facility. This will obviously be done in combination of all of our work that we're doing in Canada. We have great progress there. We're going to be also giving you more updates on that. And we expect North America in general to grow a lot with both the industrial part and the network part of our business during this year. All in all, just to open up the larger plan for you, our target is to expand our operations in the United States to be able to eventually process 1.2 billion kilos of plastic waste per year. Now, unfortunately, I'm blocked by so I have to look at the pounds here myself. That is 2.6 billion pounds annually for our American brothers and sisters. So from that 1.2 billion kilos, we are then looking to generate on an annual basis approximately 1 billion liters of pyrolysis oil. What's interesting about this is that based on our existing agreements and the general market rate for high quality pyrolysis oil, this will generate for us, once we achieve our USA target, this alone will generate for us over $1 billion in revenue annually. And if you think that the 1.2 billion kilos or 2.6 billion pounds per year is a lot, if it sounds like an ambitious target, I'd like to share with you that it is actually approximately 2% of the amount of plastic waste which is generated in the United States at the moment annually. So the total production of plastic garbage in the United States at the moment is approximately 51 billion kilos. No idea what that does in pounds, but yeah, so the 1.2 billion target is basically 2%. So our ambitious goal in the United States is to be able to process 2% of the plastic waste generated in the country annually. So with doing that, we will be able to do great things, and it obviously means that there's no end to it. The reality is that we could focus in the United States market alone, and I don't think we would ever reach a moment where we couldn't expand further. Like we would reach some kind of a saturation point that, okay, we're running out of plastic waste, guys. Like I don't think even if we wouldn't build factories anywhere else on Earth, only in the United States, we pretty much have our work work cut out for us. So like that's just, it just puts things into perspective, right? But what's cool about this one is that once we reach these targets, from this $1 billion in annual revenue generated from the sales of the oil to the petrochemical companies, as I mentioned before, 10% of all of that revenue is then channeled into our buyback program, where we will then buy CSR plastic credits from the market at any rate that are being made available. That's basically what's happening there. Now, additionally to the operations in the United States, I also wanted to give you a little bit more information about the progress that we're currently doing in Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka is a island nation in South Asia, neighboring country to India. And we have the great pleasure of now working in a very strong collaboration in partnership with the one of the largest companies in the country, a company called LOLC, which interestingly, the chairman and the majority shareholder is officially at the moment also the richest man in the country. I met him last time again in November, and he's very excited about what we're doing. We're already talking about expanding into other parts of the country, of the region, places like Maldives, where LOLC is very active, operating a number of resorts in there. The ones of you who don't know what Maldives is, just Google Maldives. It's this island group with some of the most amazing scenery and luxury resorts built in these small islands. I mean, it literally looks like a green screensaver. And what's interesting is that you have every single high-end 5-star, 6-star hotel chain operating in that area, catering for the ultra wealthy and the luxury market. Now, behind all that glitter, there is a one specific island, which is called the Garbage Island, where they are currently dumping all the garbage coming from all of these luxury hotels. And when you look at it from the map, they are too far away that it would be logistically viable to basically transport the garbage into the mainland. And the closest mainland is Sri Lanka, which is also an island. It's a big island, but it's still an island. They are also running out of space for landfills. So what we are talking now with the LOLC and their chairman, who is also a relative of the Sri Lankan president, and very excited about what we are doing, both with the industrial operations as well as with CSR plastic credits. And he already in our meeting said he's going to introduce the CSR concept for the president next time they're having lunch. And I'm looking forward to some feedback on that one now when we meet again, latest by next month. So our plan is to, for example, expand into Maldives, start cracking away on this plastic waste that is currently there, which is leaking into the ocean and causing a lot of problems, and obviously then into the other parts of the region. What I'm also very happy to share with you is that the Sri Lankan project is now for us the first ever factory development which is fully financed before we actually start construction. This doesn't necessarily mean a lot to you, but I can tell you it means a lot to us because, in the past, and I will talk about this a little bit more in detail today, but in the past, we haven't had that luxury. And all of our existing projects, Bangkok 1, 2, 3, Finland, this and that, we never had the money for the completion of the project available when we started the building. We just had our trust in God and the universe and karma and the our own work and the community that somehow, some way along the way when we need it, the money's gonna be there. All right. And I mean, to be fair, it's a pretty bold way of doing anything. Uh, and Andrea mentioned, this is kind of funny. I'm going a little bit off track here, but mentioned about this fact that when during COVID, when the oil price internationally went to the lowest point in the last 30 years, 30 years, lowest point. And it was really, I mean, everybody we spoke to said, we gotta get out of the oil business, oil industry. There's no knowing when this is gonna happen again, when the world is gonna open. And I mean, the oil was trading at a negative value for a moment during that time. That's how bad it was. Okay. And we took some, I mean, amazing risks during that time. We took risks, and I took personally risks that I would never recommend anybody to do. And when I look back myself 5 years ago, if I would be now standing with the same questions, am I going to take this risk? I don't know if I would even take those risks myself anymore. But I'm extremely happy that we did that time because it definitely paid off. It paid off, I mean, big time. And it's like a gift that keeps on giving. I mean, it hasn't stopped paying off. And we were able to utilize that moment, that timing, which has been so perfect in our business operations. We were able to utilize that window and that timing so efficiently that we basically took over. For example, here in Thailand, we took over. Not only did we take over two other competing companies, we took over the entire industry.
Exactly.
An industry.
Yes.
With pennies, okay? I mean, cents to a dollar. I mean, everybody was basically just looking to run away, and we were the only one holding cash, which we didn't have in the pocket. But we knew that we needed to go out and somehow find the money. So all of these projects that we built so far, we've always funded them as we go along, and we built them as the money is available. But I'm extremely happy to tell you that now with our Sri Lankan project, we have secured the entire investment, 100%, already now, money in the bank, before we start any construction. And this is the future. This is the way how things will be done in the future. We are now able to actually secure these investments, and I'm going to talk about the banks in a while more. But this is a very, very monumental, groundbreaking moment for us guys, and it means that these projects are going to be built faster. There's no need to slow down because we have to wait until we have the money to push forward for the next phase and so on and so on. And obviously, it just makes everything run so much more smoother. On top of that, it's also important to highlight that this is not a project that is starting from zero. LOLC, who is our project partner in this company, in this factory, they had already built a small factory. They already have the building, they have the land, they have the license. There's even one pyrolysis machine over there. We will replace all that equipment and expand the facility, but it's an already existing property. We just took over. Again, I said we took over the industry in Thailand. We did the same thing now in Sri Lanka. There's nobody else in the country doing this. The only one was LOLC, and now they are our minority partner. Considering the fact that we now have one of the largest companies in the country, we have the richest man in the country as our business partner, and the project is fully financed already, which means that we don't need to spend even $1 not even €1 from money generated from the network to build this project. And still, Corsair is controlling and in the ownership of 51% of that factory, which means, like always, with every single liter that we sell, 10% is going to go in the buyback program. But this is also going to be the way how these factories are going to be built in the future. Now, additionally to our operations, obviously in Sri Lanka and North America, you are going to get a lot of updates and progress this year from Finland, obviously from our facilities in Thailand, and also several other new locations that will be launched during this year. Additionally, this year our targets is to strengthen our
Okay, some problem with the connection. Oops.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Oh, can you?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, we lose you.
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
no problem. We just lose the last 30 seconds. No problem.
Okay. My apologies. What was the last thing you heard?
Whatever you want.
A lot
30
of
seconds.
rant.
Go back
A lot of
30
rant.
seconds.
Okay. All right. Sorry for that, guys.
No problem.
Now, let me know if it happens again, all right?
Yes, sure. I will tell you. No problem.
I'm on a mobile connection here, so we'll get it done. Sorry, guys.
No problem.
So anyway, financing and the way that we built these factories is going to change a lot as we go further in the future. And that means that now, even with the factory in Sri Lanka, even if we have it fully financed and we work together with LOLC, we as a company, Corsair, still own 51% of that project, which again means that 10% from every liter of oil that we sell goes into the buyback program. Now, some of the other targets that we have for the year is that we wish to, and we are going to strengthen our position and remain as the fastest growing company in the world in the field of plastic waste chemical recycling. There is not a single company that comes close to that right now. There is about a dozen.
Jay, again. Yeah.
Companies in the. I'm just gonna keep video here. Let me turn off my video and
Okay.
let's hope that works better.
No, we want to see you, Jay. No, we never see you. We need to see you. No, we need to see you.
Let's try this for a moment.
Okay.
Let me know if you experience any issues. So
Okay, good.
we will continue our positioning, and we will definitely remain as the fastest growing company in the field of plastic waste chemical recycling. There is right now about 12 companies in the world that are operating in this field, and no one comes even close to us in regards to the strength and the speed of progress that we're having as a company. Additionally, our target for this year is to become recognized as not only the fastest growing company, but the leading company in this industry in the world. This is something that we are confident that we will be able to achieve during this year. Additionally, we will continue to grow and improve our operations in all of our areas of business. We will naturally be expanding into new markets. We are going to have more large-scale collaborations with organizations like the United Nations. We will also bring in more contributing partners into the CSR platform. More organizations like the fishermen that we work with, like the communities that we work with, like other plastic recycling companies that we are working together with as well. Let me explain in a little bit more detail what that means and what is our contributor program that we have built around the CSR plastic credit. Now, in order for us to have a global impact, with the CSR plastic credits. A couple of years ago, we opened up the opportunity for other plastic recyclers to also take part and benefit from CSR plastic credits. As of today, we already work together with a number of other plastic recyclers. For example, here in Thailand, in India, in Europe, and soon also in North America. Companies that are operating in the plastic recycling industry. At the moment, the ones that we are working with are in the mechanical recycling of plastic. But in the future, we expect there to be also other chemical recyclers. And the CSR plastic credit platform has been designed and built to basically operate like Airbnb for plastic recyclers. So if you are a plastic recycler somewhere, anywhere in the world, or you are an organization or a group of friends or people that are collecting plastic from the environment and then taking it to be recycled, you don't have to go out and create your own plastic credit in order to be receiving this additional financial support for your work. Just to check with Andrea, are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, perfectly. You can
Great.
go perfectly. Yes.
Just say right away if it's breaking up. Now, basically what it means is that these other recyclers and organizations can join as a contributing partner into the CSR plastic credit platform. And by doing so, they have no costs. They don't have to start creating their own protocols and standards and plastic credits and then have it audited and certified and building their own blockchain environment or database and then even finding customers to sell it to. But instead, with no expense, they can become a contributing partner with Corsair to the CSR plastic credits, and we will pay for all the associated costs. It basically means that we will pay for the auditing, where we will have Control Union, our global auditing partner, a company from the Netherlands which has been operating for more than 100 years and is one of the most well-known, trustworthiest, and respected industrial auditors and certifiers. They will be sent over there to do a full audit to verify how many kilos of plastic waste did this organization or company remove from the environment and remove it in a way that it ended up being recycled. Based on that audit report, we will then offer this company or this group a financial support. We will basically give them an X amount of money for all the work that they're doing, and in exchange for that payment, they give us rights to issue the plastic credits. Now, this year we're looking to build this contributing partners group wider and bigger. Our target is to have at least 26 contributing partners by the end of the year, and also have them more actively in different parts of the world, in North America, South America, Africa, Middle East, already in Europe, Asia, Oceania, and so on. Additionally, we are going to be bringing in more qualified people to work in the company to help us to expand and to improve different areas in our business. Now, that being said, I'll come back to the finances because this year will definitely be a year when we will enter into collaborations with institutional financiers. I'm very happy to tell you that, for example, when about 4 or 5 years ago, when we started these operations and we started putting together the first factory and obviously the development budget for it, a lot of people told me, said, Jay, why are you guys doing it like that? Why don't you just go to the bank and get the money from the bank?
That's
No, It's a great question. It's difficult to argue with that, right? The challenge was that when we went to these banks and we told them what we're doing, they all applauded. That's amazing. That's great. I mean, you guys are doing an amazing job here, but we don't know how to finance you. We don't have a folder on the shelf that says this is the amount of funding that we as a bank can give to a plastic waste chemical recycling operator. Nobody's done this before. There's no market data. We got no experience. You're the only one, for example, here in the country that's now doing it. Like, that was the answer. If you would be building a housing development project, come back to the bank with plan to build 50 houses and we'll give you 70% of the construction cost. But we don't know what we can give you for this. And ultimately, it got to the point where we just gave up on the banks. It was like, it's no point. They don't know. It's not something that they were ready to and able to finance at that stage. Now, fast forward a couple of years, things are starting to change. And exactly in the same way, how a few years ago, when the regulations came from Europe, that plastic manufacturers, the petrochemical companies, the Shells, the Exxons, the Dow Chemicals, the Saudi Aramcos, and all of these other major oil and gas companies are now legally obligated to use recycled raw material in the manufacturing of new plastics, which basically overnight made Corsair as one of the most interesting companies in the field of oil and gas, where our phone, as a small young startup, couple years old, started ringing, and we were getting calls not just from the biggest oil companies in the world, but from the biggest corporations on the planet, period. Saudi Aramco. Saudi Aramco at that time was on the market. This is again when oil started going up. Saudi Aramco on the stock market was more valuable than Apple. They were calling us. Tiny little company in Bangkok with one little factory over there in the middle of landfills. Pretty crazy, but that happened. And one after another, every single one of them came. And actually, I can tell you that in about 6.5 hours, I'm going to be sitting again in our office meeting room with two executives from the top level of one of the biggest oil and gas companies in the world, who actually traveled from the United States specifically to Bangkok to meet with this guy, which is still today, it's quite, it's a little unreal. It's a little weird to be out there. Okay.
It's
But
amazing. Yeah.
I mean, that's how it is. All right. And we are obviously very honored, but we have to look at the sort of the amusement part of it. It is quite amusing. It's quite humoristic to think about that, these guys are sort of running after us, which is very, very, very unusual. Okay, anyway, while that happened for the oil and gas and petrochemical industry, now it's happening the same thing to the financial industry. What do I mean by that? Well, based on three letters, ESG, environmental sustainability governance, which is a hot word, or three words, hot combination right now. Because of these ESG regulations, financial institutions, even here in Asia, are now becoming legally obligated to have a certain amount of green projects, green businesses, environmentally important companies in their finance portfolio.
Yeah.
If they do not have, they will have to pay penalties for the governments. Well, That's a pretty interesting development. And
Yeah.
as a result of this,
Amazing.
last year already, one of the largest Asian banks, one of the largest, like I can't say the name, but it's up there. Like probably I would say easily top three. They came to us last year and we formed already this dialogue, and we are now quite already advanced in our plans with them. And they came to us and they said they would like to finance our entire Asian expansion from now until the future. Anywhere you guys want to build a plant, will be your financial partner.
And you know what, Jay, in that level, we speak about at least $100 million, the little amount they move,
Hmm.
you know.
Oh, easily. I mean, that's. I mean, this could probably grow into billions
Billions,
in
yeah.
funding
Yeah, yeah, sure.
because basically we all understand that while United States is a big market for the plastic waste, so is Asia.
Yeah.
Asia as a region is the biggest in the world where the plastic waste is a problem today. And having the ability to go ahead and start building these plants one after another without having to wait for the money to be there or go little by little, no. Just put the project together, get the money in the bank account, ordering machines and start building. What's going to happen here is you're going to start to see a massive growth in this field. And again, how does it come down to each and every one of us? Is that with every single liter that we now sell for these petrochemical companies that are legally obligated to buy this product, with every single liter that we deliver, money is going into the buyback program, buying back CSR plastic credits from the open markets at any available rate. Now, let me continue to share my screen here. So we are set to break every record out there with this expansion that we expect to happen during this year and next. And when I say that we will buy these credits at any available rates, I truly mean at any available rate. We will spend the money, the 10% from the oil sales and the 10% that we get from the so-called gate fees, where, for example, in Europe right now, we are being offered as much as 450 euros or $500 per ton, per 1,000 kilos of plastic waste that we accept to bring into our facilities. France already a couple of months ago announced that they will begin to pay up to 1,000 euros per ton. You could almost say that we're making about the same amount of money from just bringing the raw material into the factory than we make when we sell the end result, the end product, the oil. And 10% of all of that money will go into the buyback program, and we will literally buy back the credits at any available rate. We don't care if people want to sell them for half a cent or with 5 cents or 10 cents or 50 cents or $5 or $10 or $500 makes no difference at all. To be honest, the higher the better. Why? Is because when we as a company put this money into the buyback, those credits go into our special specific reserve wallet. We will never sell them again, but they will always remain in the balance sheet of Corsair company. When they are in our balance sheet and we enter, as our plan is in the coming couple of years, we enter into the stock market in the New York Stock Exchange as it has been planned. The more we have these credits in our wallet and the more higher their market price is in the exchanges, that means that the more valuable our assets in the company becomes, which will now directly reflect on our stock price on the stock exchange. That's why we know that it is a super investment and strategic move for us to continue to buy these credits out from the market and make that supply as little as possible and keep on buying and increase their price as high as possible. It's not artificially manipulating the market because we're never selling those tokens. We just keep on buying with money that's coming outside of the entire operation that we do with the network. This money has nothing to do with the network. So if it's a strategic move for the company to own these credits that we buy from the market, it might also be a good strategic move for you to hold on to them
Yeah,
or
exactly.
to make sure that you accumulate also as much as possible of them because they are going to run out. So it's an interesting arrangement. And, the reality is that this is something that has never been done before. And because of that, I am very confident in saying that this is the biggest opportunity that most people that ever learn about our operations will ever come across in their lives. And I like what Andre Maronian, who was speaking in our annual gala on November, what he said is that this is not a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah,
No, this is once.
once finish.
And once it's done, it's done. And we are strategically positioned right now at an absolutely perfect situation. Absolutely perfect. We are in a unique situation where we are able to combine some of these amazing elements: capitalism, making business, together with philanthropy, helping people, supporting people in the poorest communities and areas around the world, like we do, for example, here in Thailand. We help people to make new income by selling their plastic garbage to us. Not only are we giving away our money, we're donating houses, we're donating thousands and thousands of free meals for the homeless people. But on top of that, we are providing new earning opportunities for some of the poorest people in the world, where overnight this garbage that is surrounding them in their communities is now worth money. Suddenly that garbage became cash. And even if it's about picking up plastic from the streets and coming and sell it to us, what else does it provide than the income that these people need? It also provides for them something even more important, which is the dignity of them being now able to earn an income by doing something where they can also see the effect of their work, how those small roads inside these communities are now suddenly becoming clean. There's no more garbage bags full of plastic waste going around because people are now incentivized to pick them up and bring them up to us. So additional to the capitalism, there is the entire philanthropic point of view. On top of that, we are combining all of this with the technological revolution, which is the blockchain, utilizing that exactly at the moment when the entire world is moving into digital environment and into the blockchain. And this will happen in everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, mark my words, a couple of years from now, every single stock market in the world, every single commodities market, every single public market is going to operate on the blockchain. So we are, again, in the very, very early days of this revolution, but we're already deep into it. We're right in the middle of this revolution. On top of that, we then have the entrepreneurial element, which is the fact that we are able to help people to build a business, which can either be a small monthly extra income, or this can become a multi-million dollar industry, a multi-million dollar business opportunity, a life-changing financial opportunity that you are able to build from this and change the future of your children, your grandchildren, the future generations, because you were taking action at the right place at the right time. And when you put all of this together, the capitalism, philanthropy, digital revolution, the entrepreneurship, you put all of them together, and what are we doing here? We're cleaning our planet from this plastic pollution. We are here in the forefront solving the largest environmental problem that has ever faced our planet.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, if I urge people and I challenge people to show me a better business for this time and age, for this moment, anything which is better positioned with a better expansion and growth opportunity, with practically zero competition
Yeah, exactly.
anywhere in the world,
Yeah.
with unlimited growth opportunities, and a market that is just going to continue to grow. And while we're doing that and we're all excited about the business and the money and the growth and the value and this, in the end of the day, we're helping in the future millions and millions of people improving their lives, and we're cleaning up this planet from this pollution. I mean, I don't know anything better than that.
Yeah.
Now, we've been here for an hour and 10 minutes. We're going to do another 15 minutes approximately. Now, there's going to be a number of new partnership announcements that will be coming soon. And we are going to have another global Zoom call taking place now in February next month, during which we're going to make a lot of announcements. Very quickly, I wanted to give you a quick update on the topic of Corsair Capital. So Corsair Capital is our public company based in the Netherlands, where we just now completed our first ever Corsair crowdfunding campaign. The campaign was completed. It was only open for approximately 1 month. This was kind of like a warm-up round, but we generated great results during that short period of time. The second round of the campaign will begin later this year with an increased share price. And I know that it was frustrating for, I know they are our friends in the United States and Canada, because they were not able to participate this one because of the European Union regulations. Do not be concerned. We are also going to do a specific campaign called Corsair Capital USA later this year in the United States as well. Now, it's very important to understand why this was so meaningful for us, because this first campaign was really the initial step for us as we are moving towards becoming more and more and more a crowdfunding operator. Corsair Connect as a network will in the future not only be offering our plastic waste removal service, which will always be there, but additionally to that, we will also be offering actively and globally crowdfunding services and online banking services. Basically, what will happen now, and this is something that we're going to launch, in this case, first for the Americans and later for the Europeans, we are going to be now launching our own banking platform called Corsair Pay. And it means that members and our customers and our friends from around the world will be able to open up an online bank account like you open in any other bank. It is a licensed, regulated, established, already operating bank in Canada that Corsair is now becoming a shareholder and owner in. And we will be able as a network to bring customers to the bank. And that means that as a user, you will be able to have your normal bank account. You can make any normal bank transactions, receiving money, sending money. You can receive your Corsair Connect commissions in there. You can make payments there, whatever you like. You will have eventually debit card services, even credit card services available for that bank. And while we say that, I'd like to stop here just for a second. Again, to remind you and kind of remind ourselves of what are we talking here? You know, we are now here talking about us being the first ever network in the world that just completed successfully, for first time ever, a public offer of investment services to the public under a European Union regulated and licensed crowdfunding project. Nobody's done that before. At the same slide, we're talking about our own bank. You see, a few years ago, when Andrea and myself and Rene and some of the other people here that have been with us for years, when we were talking about these things, they were just like, they were just great ideas and sort of like dreams. Guys, this is how it's gonna be. Yeah, right. Now it's here. And it doesn't seem like anything. But those are the things that we're actually dealing with. And this is not just plans and maybe, no, this is happening right now. We're expecting to start opening up these bank accounts and registering customers during February. So a lot of interesting development happening. Now, Corsair Group and Corsair Capital will also be buying, as I mentioned before, CSR plastic credits from the market at a significant rate during this year. And we expect that during this year, we will be purchasing and removing from the circulation upwards of 200 million CSR plastic credits. Together with retirements, with companies and private individuals retiring their plastic credits, we expect somewhere between 500 million to 1 billion CSR plastic credits to leave the market during this year. That is hundreds of millions of more credits than what is currently available on the exchanges. So in summary, in a nutshell, with increased demand and obviously decreasing supply, the market for all CSR plastic credits is destined to grow. So basically what we can summarize that is by saying that this year is going to be a great year for all CSR plastic credits and their holders. Now, on the CSR Now website, you will see listed the buyback wallet, the retirement wallet, and now also the Corsair Capital wallet. And if you keep track on those, you will be able to see the amount of credits that are leaving the market and going into those. Coming to one of the most important and one of the last topics of today, which is the launch of Corsair Connect. As you know, Corsair is a company that we founded in 2020. And in 2021, Corsair acquired the Amplivo network marketing company. And until this January, until basically a week ago, we always had these two brands where there was the Corsair, which is the company, the industrial operator, the corporate and the group. And then there was Amplivo, which was the network and the marketing arm. And we wanted to wait for the right moment. And eventually we knew that at some time we want to bring all of this aligned together. And we're extremely happy now that this rebranding of Amplivo, which is much, much more than that, because it's an entire structuring of companies and a lot of moving parts operationally, but that has now been completed. Amplivo is now Corsair Connect, and we are now in this transition period, which we expect to take a month or two, during which time you will see Amplivo fading away more and more into the distance and Corsair Connect being the main brand. There still might be occasions where you see both of the brands at the same time, but that will eventually become less and less and less as Corsair Connect and all the work around it becomes now completed. We spend a lot of time on the creating the brand and to making sure that the communication that we do from now onwards is all unified and aligned under the one same brand, which is Corsair. That being said, we also had last week the honor and the great pleasure to welcome CSR 26. As mentioned earlier, CSR 26 is the annualized plastic credit, which is based on the work of plastic waste removal from the environment made during the year 2026. Now, if you were already involved with our operations last year and you are familiar how we worked with CSR 25, you got nothing new to learn. There is no change in the operations. It works exactly the same way, and we proceed in the way that we've already gotten used to and familiar with 26 instead of 25. Now, what can we expect from CSR 26 in the short term and long term? Well, let's focus on the short term first. Next Monday, the 19th of January, CSR 26 will enter into trading at L-Bank Exchange. The trading will begin and the listing will take place with 5 cents per credit, which is around the same value as CSR 25 is now trading. That also then means that there is an immediate benefit for every customer that is joining our mission for cleaning the planet from plastic pollution. But this is the things that you can expect on short term. And in a minute, I will cover with you as a final topic of today, what will happen in the longer term and what we can expect. But before that, we can also give you an update, whereas the new back office for Corsair Connect will go live during next month. We are currently scheduled for around the middle of the month launch, which basically then will be the new operating system for Corsair Connect. Also during next month, as mentioned earlier, we will launch the Corsair Pay as our new payment solution and payment platform. And with the new back office, we will also introduce and take into operations some improvements that we are making now for the compensation plan. And again, our target is always to simplify the operations. We've now done that with the brands, and the next thing we're going to do is to do that also with the currency. So at the moment, our operating currency is euro, but with the new back office, we are going to change into US dollars. Chuck already sent me a question that are we also going to change from our communication from kilos to pounds? That's that's going to have to be a little later. Oh man, we got to start to figure this thing out.
Chuck, you can unmute yourself, Chuck. You are if you need, you can.
Chuck's already calculating everything in gallons and pounds. Well, listen, the moment when the United States and you guys become the leading country and you generate more sales than the rest of the world combined, which is still very much on the metric system, at that moment, I think it's reasonable to start addressing that question. But at least for the time being, for the moment, we'll stick with the metric system for now. But yeah, it's a good question. Now, what are the projections for CSR 26 in a longer period of time, in the next months and years? Well, first of all, the trading will now begin next Monday at 5 cents per CSR 26 plastic credit, or Again, as Andrea explained, with 1 kilo of plastic removed, the company will issue 10 credits, which means that there is always the actual kilo price included. And in this case, that means 50 cents per kilo of plastic waste removed from the environment.
Jay,
This will
sorry,
be
just a question, just information. I'll take this information 1 week ago. We have a very important coffee in Italy. He went plastic neutral with the plastic bank, and they spent $2 for 1 kilo. You know, $2. This is the global price. And I have to tell you, we will contact this coffee company
yeah,
100%. Sure.
exactly. Well, I'm going to come back to this $2 per kilo in just a few minutes. But that's a great news because that's exactly what's going on.
Yes.
So we can expect that the CSR 26 market price will develop within the first weeks of the year somewhere in the range of 6 to 10 cents per credit. This will obviously be fueled by very limited supply and also a continuously growing demand. Now, when we look at the Corsair Connect campaigns and our strategy for the year, as Andrea explained in the beginning of the call, Corsair Connect as a network always offers our plastic waste removal service, our plastic neutrality packages at a standard weekly rate. Okay? And as of today, the rate for our service is 15 cents per kilo of plastic removed from the environment. Divided by 10, you get the value of the credit, 1.5 cents per credit. Now, during this initial launch of 2 weeks, so last week, and then this week, which will finish now on Friday, there is a launch campaign where we are also providing a 25% discount on this standard price. This means that instead of 15 cents, 1.5, customers are able to acquire our service at 11 cents per kilo, meaning 1.1 cents per credit. Now, this will only be available for the first 2 weeks, so it will finish this Friday. So please take action on that. Because after this ends next Saturday, the price will now be 15 cents, not 11 cents. And then each week following to that, the price will be increased by 1 cent per kilo each week moving towards the end of the year, which basically means that from the token price point of view, it means that we're going to go from 1.5 cents to 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, 2, and we're going to continue to increase the price as we move forward into the year. That means that the sooner the customer takes advantage of these campaigns, the more savings and benefits they receive. And then obviously, whatever the value is on the market. Like I said earlier, if you look back for CSR 25, the market value is right now 7 cents. And similarly, in the beginning of last year, our first customers got it for 1.3. I mean, that's reality. That's out there. Every single customer from last year at this moment actually benefited from participating. Now, as a longer term projection, and now I will use what Andrea just mentioned, we can easily project that the CSR 26 market value will develop to somewhere between $3 to $5 per kilo. Now, with more and more demand coming for plastic credits and very, very limited availability out there, this is only going to grow. But as Andrea said, now in Italy, they just bought somebody else's credits for $2 a kilo,
Yes.
which converts into, in our case, 20 cents per credit.
Yeah.
So basically what we can project very confidently is that just based on the general market value of plastic credits, we can project that the CSR 26 value is going to develop to the range somewhere between 30 to 50 cents per credit. And right now, with our existing market offer and our weekly standard price, people get it for 1.1 or 11 cents per kilo. So yeah, that you could say that there's some potential in there. And this is again, this is only and only based on the plastic credit market. This is not taking into account the buyback program. No. With the buyback program, there is no limit. There is absolutely no limit for where this can go in the future. There's no ceiling, none whatsoever. So I know that we covered a lot of topics. We've gone on now for 90 minutes. I truly want to thank everybody for your patience and for being here today on this important call. There is going to be a number of events, number of important things happening during this year. And I'd like you to make a sort of a mental note on these as we will soon be releasing the more detailed dates on this. First of all, we will have our next global call with more updates and announcements now in February. We will have several global calls this year because there's a lot of things happening just to make sure that everybody's updated and gets the news fresh. Additionally, we are going to do a Northern American tour in March. We're putting the places and the dates now together, but in March we will be touring the biggest cities in Canada and United States. And then in May, we will be holding two events in Europe, one in Finland in the month of May, which will also be then combined with a visit to the factory. And then we're going to do 1 week after that, towards the end of May, a Sunday event also in the southern part of Europe. The year will then end, culminate into a celebration at the end of October, beginning of November, when again, as tradition goes, we will be holding our Vision 26 event week here in Thailand. And the ones of you who have been with us, for example, here last year, you've seen how these events are getting bigger and better and beautiful and grander. This year it's going to be even better. And we will continue our tradition to hold the event, the Vision event, as an invitation-only event. You can't buy tickets. We operate very differently than many other companies. We don't sell tickets to our main event. You can't buy your way in. You can only be invited by qualifying, by contributing and building your business with us. And I expect to see more people, especially more people from United States, to joining us at the Vision 26 event. It's going to be fantastic, and it's going to be great to see all of you guys being part of this. So all in all, as we're coming to the end of the call, I would like to summarize this by stating the obvious, that there's really no better time than now. And we are truly ready for this massive growth that we expect to see during this year. And I know that when we work together as a community, as a team, we will together make this year our best year yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, as always, to be with you here on this call today. I thank you all for taking the time. I know it's a bit of a long call. There is the recording hopefully available, and we can later share that as well.
Sure.
But I want to thank you for taking the time. And if you are here today learning about our business for the first time, well, you are definitely at a right place at a right time. There's no question about that. Just think about what we spoke here today. Being as a company recognized at the United Nations, now working with some of the largest oil and gas companies in the world, soon working with some of the biggest banks in the world, working with the governments in the world. What else? Being the first network in the world to be able to offer investment services for the public, and on the list goes. And the best part, we're just getting started, guys. This is day one. This is literally the beginning. I mean, we haven't shown anything. This is just the start. It's going to be nice to have this call 1 year from now and see where we are in January 27. And, you know, one thing is for sure, the people in those calls 1 year from now, well, they wish they would have been here today and had the opportunity to take advantage of this expansion and this growth and this timing that we have today on these amazing markets. Anyway, 95 minutes. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Andrea, if you want to say a few more words, go ahead. But I thank you all very much for being part of this amazing journey.
No,
Thanks, guys.
thank you to you, Jay. I will just take 2 minutes. You know, first of all, thank you to be here. As you told, this meeting will be recorded. So please check it again and please share the recording with your people because maybe they are not here today. Will be very important for them to listen to this. You know, Jay, just one thing. If
Andrea,
today,
I have to interrupt you, Andrea.
please.
I want to make sure that everyone knows that you are our #1 top global leader. You've been that for many years. And that you have an incredible team in Italy. And you know that you and I are speaking tomorrow afternoon. We've already arranged that call. Be prepared to explain to me how it's possible that this coffee company went plastic neutral and not with one of our guys. I'm warning you now. You're going to have to give me a good explanation.
Yeah, I have to make an investigation. Yeah, sure.
You do that. Thank you.
No, thank you to you. Thank you. You know, I was thinking.
Everybody deserves a second chance.
Yeah. And then we spend 20 times less. This is funny. You know, Jay, just a second. Just a thinking to everyone. Some days ago, Jay, I was thinking, but if today Corsair would not exist, okay, what I would do in my life? Sincerely, okay, I say, okay, I can do a normal job. We can do a normal job. But I believe that here today, we have the real possibility to dream for the future in something very good. We are in 3, not 1. Only 1 would be enough. We are in the art of 3 global revolution, and we are the #1 in each revolution. Chemical recycling, #1. Plastic credit, the CSR is the most selling in the world. Network marketing, we are the unique network marketing in the world. There are no other network market they sell plastic credits. So I believe really we have something amazing in our hands. Just take advantage from this. And Jay, really, thank you very much to be here. Nothing, guys. I'm here every week, every Tuesday at 9:15 with this training. So if you are free, if you have nothing to do, if you want to learn something more, because of what I repeat all the time, if you want to make this business, you need to study. I kindly invite you every week in this English training. Jay, thank you very much with all my heart. It's a pleasure. Elliot, thank you very much. Guys, thank you very much to all of you. Let me open up your microphone because, you know, I like the confusion at the end. I need the confusion. I need to listen because I need. Yeah. Good night to everyone.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
Hey, tack så mycket.
Good night.
Good night.
Tack Jussi.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good
Have a
night.
good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Let's go do it, people. Let's go
Bye-bye.
do it.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you.